guys. Chat here. Open the screen. That screen. Then I do that screen.